Your Excellency Surangel Whipps, President of Palau. What a great honor to be able to interview you today. Welcome to ANewz.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to meet with media and share about Palau.
Yes, indeed. You're just coming from the high-level segment of the meeting of heads of government and state. What is the feeling there? Are we getting to that final decision which is to be taken during the course of this week?
The feeling is that we're kind of at a pause. So we're hoping that we can keep the momentum going. I shared at the high-level statement a legend in Palau. And it's a legend about a fisherman who went fishing. And he saw a turtle. And when he saw the turtle, he decided to jump in the water after the turtle. But what he did is he forgot to tie his boat. So as he came up for breath, he looked and his boat was drifting away. And then he saw the turtle drifting away. He couldn't decide which one to go after. In the end, he lost both. And so we hope that this COP the momentum keeps going and they're able to reach an agreement and keep moving because it's important for the planet.
Indeed, and the pressure is ramping up, of course.
Yes.
We heard about the possibility of delay, nothing officially confirmed. And could you tell us about the more specific challenges that the countries in your region, the Pacific, are facing at this juncture? Because we have seen this, the lack of clearly defined consensus between global north and global south. It looks like that there are those countries who feel the impact of climate change in a way that other countries are not feeling. Therefore, in terms of getting to the consensus, what is your reflection on this?
Yeah, so, I think one of the opportunities we had is the Pacific Island Forum, which is all the Pacific countries coming together, was held in Tonga. And the Secretary General, Gutierrez, was there. And he says, if we save the Pacific, we save the planet. And I think that's so important because it's really, the Pacific is where you see the biggest impacts. For example, here, you see the Caspian Sea receding. Yeah. Where we are, we see the highest levels of sea level rise. We're also seeing warmer temperatures, 3 times higher than the world average. That also affects the warming seas, ocean acidification. All these things put pressure on the coral reef, so coral bleaching, loss of fish populations, and our jellyfish, which are stingless, that you can swim with. So those are already the impacts that we are facing now. Besides that, we now have droughts. We also have intense storms, and our homes were not built to handle them, and the infrastructure. So, like I shared today, it's not something that's going to happen someday. It's what we live with every day. And so our call is that we need to really take action to disrupt or stop the use of fossil fuels, because that's the only way that we're going to address the challenges that we have. And so energy transition, having funding, finally financing for adaptation, mitigation, and loss and damage is critical for small island developing states, especially in the Pacific, because we suffer the most.
And also last week we had a summit of small island developing states. Baku Declaration was adopted. Do you think that this declaration will have a consequential bearing on the fate of small island developing states?
Well, it's important to have your president's support and these kinds of declarations because they highlight and they show the importance of commitments and the calls to action. So very important. And we need more of them.
We need more of them.
Yeah.
But quite often there has been some criticism that people come to different COPs, they talk a lot, but there is a problem in terms of transformation from pledges, commitments, words into practicable action. Do you expect this COP to be different in that particular respect?
Well, that's what we're trying to do, is unlock those doors and actually get the financing flowing so that you can actually make the changes and the impacts that you need to get going. I think a lot of times for us in small islands, those initiatives or those are kind of out of reach. The red tape to get the financing going. Because of our economies are small, the investment doesn't come. These are things that we need to work on delivering, because the people say you go, but nothing really happens. And you know, there was another Pacific leader, a good friend of mine, President Marape of PNG, who said, I'm not going because enough of these conferences where nothing gets done. And you know, and that's important, because we all need to make statements to help raise that ambition, call people to action, because it really is everybody's responsibility. It cannot just be the Pacific Islands taking action, whether it's protecting our oceans, coming up with mitigation plans, or reducing our fossil fuel emissions. All of those things cannot just be done in silos. Every country, every individual must take part, including the choices of what we eat. You know, wouldn't it be wonderful if the whole world went vegan? I mean, these are things that really takes all of us working together. And I think what's important is we have to raise that awareness, raise that ambition in every way possible. So even though I'm here late, because I had an election,
yes,
and I was waiting for the results, but I felt it was important that we come and also share our position.
Congratulations on your re-election, by the way. But you're coming from a business entrepreneurial background. Quite often here we talked about the necessity of private sector playing an important role in terms of helping developing countries in terms of facing this climate challenge. And when it comes to that NCQG decision, we understand that a certain portion of money will come from nation states, from developed countries, from multilateral development bank, but also from private sector. What are your expectations about the role of private sector in terms of contributing to that ultimate climate finance goal?
Well, you know, just recently I was in the UAE, and just seeing the incredible projects they're doing in solar and renewable energy, and then the cost of how they can do those projects, and then the cost that they can deliver energy at are so low compared to those of us that are on islands that depend on fossil fuels. So I think there is already an opportunity for investment to come out to islands, provide energy at much lower rates, but renewable energy that we can all benefit from. So it's I think finding the right partners, getting that investment flowing. You know, a lot of times they just look at our islands and they say, well, Palau, they need 15 megawatts, that's too small, I'm not going to waste my time. We want to do gigawatts. But look at the Pacific as a whole. I think if somebody gets it right on one island, this is something you can transform to all islands. And Palau has already started that process. But we like to say, come and experiment with us. Let's work together to try to work out the kinks. And if we can do it right in Palau, we can spread that throughout the Pacific. But I think that's really, it's about sharing information. It's about using and leveraging private sector, because they're the ones that are always going to look at cost and figure out how to make money at the end of the day, but do it more efficiently than governments can do it. So I think the private sector is critical. And we do have a private sector investment in Palau in our renewable energy.
Yes.
I have to say that it's not perfect. It's got its problems, and we're trying to work through it. But we have learned a lot. It's 20% of our energy grid now. To go to the next, get the next 80%, we've learned so much in what we've done that we can now, I think, do a much better job in the next round.
Your Excellency, I'm so grateful to you for this opportunity. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.